Abodi a white day, over you and me, your contour info. Yele fio, akodi, otomo baro basimi. Upono yele fio, ayangandi to wene. Offering the remote, all your young yem funful. We will give you praise, forever you are excellent. Upono yele fio, akodi, ananam yele basimi. Upono yele fio, sinsi yeli removan. Offering the remote, all your young yem funful. We will lift you higher, forever you are excellent. And Lord, we lift you higher.
Forever you are excellent.
Lord, we give you praise.
Forever you are excellent.
Amana, mamana, mamana,
Amana, you are excellent.
Lord, we give you glory.
Forever you are excellent.
Lord, we lift you higher.
Forever you are excellent.
Amana, mamana, manami,
Amana, you are excellent.
Amaka disappoint me, but the end I get confusion. Amaka disappoint me, young get disappointment. Amaka disappoint me, young get confusion. Amaka disappoint me, but the end I get disappointment.
Baby, I will take care of you, passing on it. Are you getting? Are you getting? All your problems are no say solution, na ego. Are you getting? Are you getting? Mama boy, your mama boy, and you're beautiful too. I want to hold you, I want to hold you. Girl, I love you. Girl, I wanna love you. I know you fell in love, but nobody.
I don't charge my energy, I no get time for no enemy. You repay for to me. Nothing with person never see. I'm on nothing with person never see. Forget it, I say bashi.
My Efik brothers and sisters,
Take our body agent.
get ready
I take her to
for the show of the century.
I'm in the answer, yes sir. Then I'm in the answer, yes sir. Respect is reciprocal, even though I know say I'm special. Anybody, we no want to search it. Anybody, we no the carry body. I can't something, I can't something. Go back, I can't something. You want your bed, you never walk. Should not because myself, I never talk. I look you, they laugh, you go. Go. I shall no say the time go come. Mama, I no say the time go come. When you look go, fit the light over. Mama, life not on python. Whether you like or not, go back to me, you best say they go far. So yeah, keep it that on. Everybody, we no want to talk.
Go, shorty.
We know the body.
Go, shorty.
I can't something. Go back, I can't something. Don't miss you expecting. Take our body, I jump in. I take her to the jelly,
Go,
then I'm in the answer, yes sir. Respect is reciprocal, even though I'm not special.
Go, shorty. It's your birthday. 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 Go, shorty, 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 it's your birthday. Go, 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 go. Go, shorty. Go, go, shorty. Go, shorty. Go,
go, show yeah. Go. Another man food is another man poison. Monkey no fine, but in my mind like
Shaka for daddy, para for baby, Mona Lisa, she be dancer, oh yeah dance. They say love is blind, my eye they shine. Baby, I don't know why, cause I see my future in your eyes. Baby, you wear my body to me for night. Girl, I go need you die. Oh yeah, come and touch my body. Dima. Oh no, you would give me oh ha. You my baby, dear BS. Oh ha. Oh no, you would give me oh ha. You my baby, dear BS. Oh ha. Oh no, you would give me oh ha. You my baby, dear BS. Oh ha. Mona Lisa, dear BS. Oh ha. My baby, no be dear BS. Oh ha. Adaku. Girl, I go need you, baby. Adaku. Girl, I go need you die. I see my future in your eyes.
I will keep pressing for you. I go cause you I fire cut off for you. Yeah. You don't cause you are you just cause wahala, cause my heart is kata oh. I go run your race, kata oh. I no go do you jaga oh. I cannot let you go, I cannot let you go. Today you go give me number. I say 0 what is 0. Say you go give me number. You're such a sexy tomato. I say 0 or 0. Today you go give me number. I don't fall in love, oh. I don't fall in love. All I get is so beautiful. She does steal my heart, oh. All I get is so beautiful. I think it's blessing for you. I go cause you cause I love cause you. I fire cut off for you. You don't cause you are alive.
Let me a latte, oh. I see a man. No. I hear the sound of a tambourino. Talking drums and shakira combination. I see people under the tambourino. Dancing, I guess there is a celebration. Mama, I'm the only one at home. All I want to do now is dance the wombo lumbo. So I lock up and keep Kokorola Begondo. Where do they have you? Yeah. Come see small picking at the Arugo de Dan Bolombo.
We go live forever, we go there for every weather. Now baby, oh, I want to die with you. This love you give to me, I never see it before. Baby, oh. Let me be your kete. I gon' love you, je. Let me be your kete, oh. Let me be your kete. I gon' love you, je. Let me be your kete, oh. Baby. Imam me for me your Imam no ma pen. You know Imam not that number. Imam me the registration confirm. All the way from my blow. I love you. Mama wabo. My God, Imam ye yam yarire. Imam yo. Come no me yo.
Come na me oh.
It's me, it's me like sugar.
Come na me oh, baby oh.
It's me like
Be my wife oh. Be my wife oh. They call me Galaxy oh. Again if I even come on, Boroko, Boroko, baby, Boroko, 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 oh yeah, Boroko, 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 Imagine, Boroko, Boroko. This love you give to me, I never see it before. My baby, oh, baby, oh. Let me be your kete. I gon' love you, je. Let me be your kete. Okoko Bioko. MC Galaxy. You know, love is a beautiful thing. Some people cry for love, and some people smile for love. But we keep praying for the right partner to come. If you believe you're gonna find your right partner, say Okoko Bioko. And now I say Imam Medio Panico. Baby oh, Imam Medio Tell everybody my love for you, my sugar like you. Yeah, Fix about to turn it down. I go love you, I go love you, I go love you. Turn it up. Like that. Turn it all around. I gotta go. My love for you, I gotta go. I go love you till I die. Baby, oh, now you gon' be my wife, oh, baby, oh, child. I give my life to love, now you be my love. Make we marry, oh, make we marry, oh, make we marry, oh, baby, oh. And I promise you, for better, for worse, correct. For richer and poor, correct. In sickness, in health, correct. I go love you, correct. We go bunny picking, correct. Fine boys, correct. Fine girls, correct. We go make it money, correct. We go see your mama, correct. I go see your papa, correct. I go pay your price, correct. Go they go my house, correct. And you go be my wife. Imam Media Panico. Imam Media Panico. Imam Media Panico. Imam Media Panico. My love for you, my sugar like it. Princess Adak, I see you. Love for you, my sugar. Thank you, my sister, for tuning in. My love for you, my second. Tell everybody we're live on air. Second. They can log in now. Go to Dubai. Hey, baby, yo. Hey, St. Louis, I see you. You're welcome to the party. You're welcome to the show. My baby, yo, my baby, yo. Valentine Day, go come. You go to my Bible. I go buy you jollof, buy you plantain, buy you a potato. You chop and fresh. You never lucky, baby girl. Child, go come, mommy. I was snagging my bread present. One day you for the kitty man. Oh, yeah. Imam with the man to be child. Oh, mama, baby. I'll send you.
I'm raising your team, please make it 11. Cause you are the one. In days of the week, and them say that's 7. I can give it all. Come to me at 12, I give you a dozen. If you gonna do it all. Ufani young me you, young me ye, no me ye ka. Dio. Adiamura and I want me die, Madio.
Mama Imelda, Victor Equipment. You're welcome to the show. Simply the culture of the Efik people. It's gonna be a wonderful day.
All the love that you have given me,
The sacrifice is so, Mama.
I promise I will make you so proud.
The words that you have said to me,
On the tablet of my heart it lies.
I never let this moral go down.
Everything I have I give to you.
I promise I'll never let you down. Adiahudo, Adiahudo.
Mama Joe,
Hey, black and white. Yama kuma kuma wo. Kama wa mubima. Mami yama byala yera wan. Mama mi yakuma wa tuma wa kuma wo. Tetina mamangu. Akamanga ya ko impo. Babo maya kumo. Mami yenu bro. Follow up top. Yenu bro boka. Aka cancel. Follow up top.
All my ladies, Tunze, décalé, voy a décalé. All my ladies, Tunze, décalé, voy a décalé.
after the reggae play.
Na 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 na. Oh na 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 na.
After the reggae play the blues, make you do as I do. Enjoy yourself, baby boo,
It's gonna be a party.
boo, get the boo,
Shout
Shout out to all my Efik brothers and sisters logging in. You're welcome.
Everybody wanna do. As far as the money they pay, EBO pop champagne.
Baba see bad the way them the bull. You just a nama catch the bull. See money from the like swimming pool. Yeah, you dey give me mix like wedding pool. Baby, anything you want to make I do. I never tiger back to my boo. Oh yeah, now our master oh, you the bad oh. If your body got your monkey, you get belly.
I go Calabar, I see cause we don't have no. You dash the body, I go Bola for Lagos. I call on I see, say I don't have to go club. Where all the babies, say they come say I did club. I say she if not, now me they sing song. I'm bad like King Kong. He ain't Calabar, he ain't Calabar, he ain't Calabar, he ain't Calabar. It's stitches again. It's your wish, all I want is your wish, all I wish, your wish, all I want is your wish, all I wish, your wish, all I want is your wish, all I wish, your wish, all I want is your wish.
Give me your love, I need your love, Glow my love, definitely my love, delete my love, Ima, na na na, Ima, no na na, Ima, na na na, baby, Ima, give it to me, Ima. Give it to me, man. Show me your love, you know. Oh, yeah, give it to me, man. Ima, no, no. Ima, no, no, Ima. Ima, no, no. Ima, no, no, Ima. Baby, 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 baby. Baby, baby, show me your way. I am ready to be daddy. I mean, you are ready to be mommy. Show me your way. Show me your way. Show me your way, my Ima. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me, my Ima. Ima, no, no. Give me your love. I need your love. Ima. So young can you? So young brigo, so young can you? Abo young brigo, so young can you? So young brigo, so young cow. Brigo so. Ako magpandi jen kong pindi jen. Ama pay kawang kong pi kawa. Apo magpay katang kong pi katao. Ama speaker nambre kawa. Itarieti na mariyo brigo so. Edom brigo so yang kanyo brigo so. Isa wa ko ko. Ekembre yemi embre yo. Iya embre yenti kora sai bro bon. Ikoso. Dona Mario will be coming on, you know. Aqua was here, you know. If I so you with mommy. I know what you
Hey, now I'm giving my testimony. I'm killing the beat and I'm giving them heat. So now I'm giving them everything. I'm living my life, I don't chop the money. I don't taste money. My guy, I'm allergic to poverty. So I'm using my sense to gather the properties. Okay, now no time, like a statue of liberty. Nobody knows tomorrow, so I'll be holding my destiny. As if you say I don't go, some people they bubble low. I continue the struggle, the struggle, the
Close
Some people they bubble low. I continue this.
Remember one more time,
my hustle
at the tail end of this event, I'll be back.
I'm killing the beat and I'm giving them heat. So now.
Got it. Sorry about that. Thank you, DJ Mixmaster Brown, for those jams. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2020 Efik National Convention. My name is Alice Audu, and I'll be your moderator for this session, as well as some other sessions later. We're in for a real treat today with our great presenters and so much good information. So sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. Please remember to mute yourself and also drop your questions in the chat. There'll be a portion for question and answers later in the show. First up, please help me to welcome our board chair, Mrs. Nyambi. Following her, we'll have Pastor Jacob Orok with the opening prayer.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Atai Nyambi. I'm the chairperson of the Board of Trustees of Efik National Inc., USA. Today is such a special day. I welcome all of you. This is a unique day. This event was planned solely by our youths, and I'm so proud of them. If you see what they've done, it's skillfully put together. They are a joy, a pride for all of us. So I also say thank you to all the parents. You know, when you bring up your children, you never know that they're listening to you. You're teaching them the culture. You don't know they're taking it all in. Today displays everything, all the hard work all the parents did to bring them up. They have planned a very, very beautiful program for you. So please stay back, enjoy it. We are a big umbrella. We welcome everyone, as is that of friendship. We extend our hands to all of you to be a part of us, to join us, celebrate our culture. If you have any questions, like they said, you'll have people to answer them. Please welcome. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I welcome all of you. Relax and have a fun time. Thank you for tuning in.
Ditarte kamdo Ememe baseru ye mufo. Adi nkwa ine mesira no mi. Nde duwem nsumfuna mi. Ninyo nkemende ikpogare mbono mi. Yakam. Abaseru ye mufo. Father, we thank you, we bless you, Lord. We glorify your name, Lord. We thank you because you are the creator of heaven and earth. We thank you because your love is immeasurable. We thank you because you have seen us through thicks and thins, that you have taken us from the time we met in Boston last year. And we passed through every different situations and scenarios, even including the pandemic that affected the whole world. But you continue to put us together. You continue to hold us together. You continue to open new doors. You continue to keep us alive so that we can come back and see ourselves again. Lord, this afternoon we invite you. We invite you as our Lord and our King. We invite you as the creator of heavens and the earth. We pray this afternoon that you will become and be the chairman of this occasion. That you will use this occasion to join all of us together. That you will reason with us. And if there is anything that is above our power as humans, that you, God, will set in and you perform miracles. You will rescue us at any point that we are not able to save ourselves. Father God, we thank you because we are being heard throughout the world, that you are God also. Even those in Nigeria who are joining us today, even those in UK who are joining us today, even those in France, even those of us here in California, those in Boston, those in Atlanta, those in Houston, those in every state of America and every country in the world, and even in our mother home, Calabar, who are watching us today. We pray your blessings over them in Jesus' name. Thank you, our Heavenly Father. Give us the ability to enjoy this event. Whatever we do here, let it be to your glory. We thank you, we bless you. Glory be unto you. We bless your name, Almighty. In Jesus' mighty name, we have prayed. Amen.
Good afternoon, dear family and friends. On behalf of our Board of Trustees, the National Executive Committee, and members of the Association, I welcome you to our Zoom conference, organized by our able young adults. They have worked tirelessly to put this show together. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking them for a job well done. We salute your courage in the face of the global pandemic and the consequent economic downturn. You braved the challenges to organize this meeting. The Efik National Association, Inc. USA is a national organization that comprises local chapters that spread across different parts of the United States. The association is a cultural non-profit organization formed to empower the Efik people in the United States through community outreach and promotion of Efik culture. The theme of this conference is the future of our culture, empowering the youth to continue to push forward the foundations us current members have set. It is an opportunity to bridge the gap between the first generation Efik immigrants to the United States and the second generation Efik children born here in the United States. The state of our session is bright and healthy. We continue to carry our cultural roadshows to new frontiers and cities to showcase our rich Efik cultural heritage and to raise funds for a philanthropic cause that is of interest to the association. We continue to invest in the development of new materials for Efik language class in the association website. We recognize the value of language to the preservation of our culture. Consequently, encourage people with skills in language to share their knowledge with us. We have embraced visual technology as part of our new normal. We are currently in the final stage of implementation of a management system on the association website. When completed, the association website will serve as a visual secretariat where members can interact with the administration and conduct association activities. This ongoing Zoom conference is a testament to our ability to adapt to changing realities. Finally, I would like to take this moment to thank frontline workers of Efik origin, amongst them doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and other medical professionals who have placed their lives on the front line to contain the spread of COVID-19. They are heroes. Please, ladies and gentlemen, join me to salute them. Isesango abasedu yemufo. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move forward with our program, I would like to take this moment to introduce our Association Standing Committee leaders.
Ekamdo, welcome to our virtual convention. Thank you to Dr. Sandy Asari Hogan and the rest of our youths for making this possible, putting this together for us. However, I'm here to talk to you about the 2019 medical mission to Calabar that was led by Dr. Asukwenyam. Accompanying him were 100 volunteers, doctors, nurses, and non-health caregivers that came with us. Upon arriving in Calabar, we were invited to lunch by Her Excellency, Mrs. Plenary Duke, at their home. After lunch, we all retired to the Women and Children Hospital, where we stayed and where the mission site was. The very next day was the mission day, the start of the mission. So many people showed up because word had gone out that we were there. On the whole, about 2,000 people showed up. The crowd was not easy to control, but we had people to help us do that. 500 people were attended to. Out of the 500, 150 surgeries were performed. 58 dental care provided. We were also able to provide food, breakfast, lunch, dinner for all the volunteers, the 100 volunteers that were there for the duration of our stay. Transportation was provided. Security provided round the clock at the hospital and also at the residential home. We were able to take time off to pay our respects to the Obong of Calabar. I'd like to seize this opportunity to thank everyone for everything that they did to make this possible. Thank you to our donors. Thank you to the President, Mr. Emmanuel Nsema, who was also always calling in to check to see how things were going. Thank you to my husband, Mr. Nyambi, who worked with me and the rest of my team to raise funds. He accompanied us also to Calabar. Thank you to Mr. Retebong, who was on the team working to raise funds, and he also made the trip to Calabar. Thank you to Mr. Efik National, who helped with the fundraising. Thank you to our pastor, Jacob Orok, that assisted when we needed the GoFundMe site set up. Thank you also to World Surgical Foundation, because some of their nurses came also to help us. I'd like to seize this opportunity to express my thank you to everyone that has tuned in. Please stay back, enjoy the rest of the convention. Stay safe, don't forget to wear your mask, and may God bless you. Thanks.
Asian Kobu, aka Dekobi, co-chair of the Education Committee with International. Last year, we issued scholarship on medical discipline to 3 individuals. This year, we're looking to expand to other disciplines, especially farming, a Greek, as we call it. So we're encouraging all our sons and daughters, young people, to apply. We will be sending out info in the near future, say around January of 2021. If you know of any young person that's interested in furthering their education, please encourage them to apply. Look forward to serving all of you. And I'm going to take this opportunity to thank you for supporting us in our first endeavor. Thank you very much. And I want to encourage all of you. We need funds in that program to help us whatever you can. Adopt a committee, medical committee, education committee, welfare committee. Find one to adopt. Thank you. God bless.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mama Igori, and I am the Financial Secretary of the Efik National Association and also head of the newly inaugurated Efik Welfare Committee. Let me just first start by congratulating our youths on hosting this wonderful virtual conference, and I thank God for the vision He has given to the youths. And please let us continue to encourage them because they are the future, and I'm sure and I know for a fact that they are committed and willing to move this association forward. And I thank God that it's going to be different henceforth in the association in the mighty name of Jesus. The Efik Welfare Committee was inaugurated by the President to cater to the immediate needs of all Efik members in the United States. And based on that, the Welfare Committee met and we decided on some logistics for the Welfare Committee. And the first thing is that the membership is limited strictly to Efik members in the United States if they want to be part of the Welfare Fund. It is not compulsory, it is just, it is voluntary. If you want to be part of it, then you will pay into the fund and you will receive money back in case of emergency, God forbid. And also the beneficiaries of the welfare fund is limited to husband, wife, and the children. We did not want to make it open to other family members. We know that all our family members are important, but for right now, it's just husband, wife, and the children. And the contribution to the fund is $100 per member per year. And also the welfare fund covers emergencies such as sickness, loss of life, accident, natural disasters, death, and also any situation that causes a member to lose their income. So in such situations, the welfare committee will decide on how to deal with the situation. Of course, every situation is different, but the welfare committee will review the situation and also pay out some money to the member if they deem it fit. I encourage everyone to be part of this. I encourage everyone to pay into this welfare fund. And because we already past mid-year, we decided that for this year, everyone should pay $50 into the fund. And we have posted all the information you would need about you need to know about the welfare fund. We posted it on our forum. So please go back and read what we have posted. Also, let me remind everyone that the dues, national dues, are due, even though we did not have a convention this year, but we still have to pay our dues. I know the times are hard, but please let us try and make payments as soon as possible. And also, this is going to go towards hosting the convention next year and also running the association. And I want to say that next year we're going to meet physically see each other, and it's going to be a big celebration. We're going to celebrate major milestones. We're going to celebrate each other. We're going to celebrate ourselves. We're going to celebrate our families. We're going to celebrate the fact that we are still standing despite it all. And I thank God, because I know for a fact that at the end of the day, when we begin to count, none of our members, none of our families will be missing, in the mighty name of Jesus. Another major milestone that we have accomplished in this association is the Efik portal. And this portal is nearing completion, and as soon as it is completed, we are going to send out an email to inform everybody. With this portal, everyone will be able to register themselves, register their chapters, register their families, and also they'll be able to make payment, pay their dues, and contribute to the welfare fund. So as soon as this happens, everyone is going to be made aware of it, and this is really going to help us move forward in terms of technology and also doing things properly. And I thank God for everybody, and God bless Efik National Association. God bless all the Efiks. God bless Nigeria. God bless America. Thank you.
Am I on? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is E202, and I am the lead for the development and acquisition of a cultural center on behalf of the association. Next. Fantastic. You have to excuse me because the controller of the screen is not in the same location as I am, so you're going to hear me say next. When you hear the word next, it's just to inform the controller to advance. So the objective of the convention center, or the objective of the development center, is to make sure that we acquire a center that we can use to advance our needs. And in this presentation, I'm going to share with you the objectives, the members, the attributes, the location, the update of where we are, of what we've accomplished so far, the funding, and the timeline for the development of this project. Next. Simply, the objective of this development project is to acquire or develop a multi-dimensional event center for the association. Also to develop strategies to fund it, and also how to realize revenue from the center. Next. Members of this organization, or this project, are myself. I'm the lead person. Asupo Pong, he is no longer with us. May he so rest in peace. Richard Ansel, Erete Ebon, Nkoyo Effiong Lewis, Awat, and Richard Henshaw. Next. As you can see, as we were thinking the whole thing through, we were looking at possible samples of what this structure ought to look like, and some of the attributes that we need, or we desire this property to have. And some of them, we figured we need a capacity of up to about 10,000 square feet, capable of holding up to about 400 people, ample space for parking outside, easily accessible, must be compliant with the zoning laws of the city, must be appealing, and also must locate within 10 to 20 mile radius of the desired city. Next. When we took a look at this project, we said, okay, what else can we use this cultural center for, or convention center for, community center for? We came up with possibilities like events, meeting spaces, classrooms, workshops, and so on and so forth. So we have some images of some of the possibilities that this community center could have. Next. Now, we decided to look at two cities based on so many attributes. We narrowed it down to Houston and Atlanta. But we decided on Atlanta because looking at all the variables, we discovered that at this moment, Atlanta is way cheaper than Houston. So we settled for Atlanta based on the property cost, demographics, potential for use, and location. Next. Now, to give an update of where we are, because we've been having this conversation for the past 2 years. To date, we thought, because you all know that 2020 is a big miss because of COVID-19. So where we stopped was maybe early last year, where we met with the mayor of Mayor Winn-Dixon of Riverdale in Georgia. We took a trip over there because we were working with a state rep by the name of Stovall, who introduced us to the mayor of the city because she thought that she gave us information that there could be some properties that could meet our needs. But after visiting the mayor, we discovered that we probably came a little bit too late because there was a property that we saw. We didn't know that we were going to be in competition with another group who resides right there in the city. And there were some attachments to this property that we thought wouldn't be a good fit for what it is that we need it for. So we decided to let that go, and we promised, or the representative promised to work with us to look at other properties within the area. The one we looked at pretty much was landlocked. I mean, it was difficult for us to access the property. So this Rep Stovall said she will work with us going through, moving ahead. We got a little bit disconnected because she had to attend to so many cases coming up in that district. So that's why we left it. But we continue to move ahead with the case. Next. So in preparation for this opportunity, we think that we should get our finances together. As we all know, success happens when preparation meets opportunity. When the opportunity shows up, we want to make sure, absolutely sure, that we are prepared for it. So we are now beginning to organize ourselves by raising funds, to meet this potential opportunity. Next. Now, these are possible avenues of raising funds. We've talked about corporate sponsorship, professional fundraising organizations, grants, foundations, GoFundMe. I mean, you can see all up there, including donating assets no longer needed, Amazon Smiles, soliciting equipment, and Facebook birthday wishes. I mean, we're open to other ideas that can help us get to our goal. So if you know of ways that we can raise funds up to 20 or 30% of the value of the asset, because we are looking at acquiring an asset of up to about $750,000. And then typically for you to acquire such property, you have to come up with at least 20% down or even more. So our target at this time is to raise up to about $150,000 to enable us to put down on a property should we buy an existing one. But we can build ourselves. If we build ourselves, chances are the down payment will be less. If we are able to acquire a piece of land at a much cheaper price, and the land could be accepted by the bank as a full down payment for the property. So we're still working several angles, buy or build. But I'll keep you all posted. Next. So these are some of the possible ways that we can, raise revenue while occupying the property. These include weekend rentals for special events, adults daycare. And you all know this is a huge revenue generating opportunity. A lot of people in my area, they own daycare, and they tell me how lucrative it is. I'm sure same is true in Atlanta. Meeting rooms for business. Tournaments. In my neighborhood here, we have several domino tournaments where people contribute or belong to a club, and they pay to be members of those clubs. And once again, we are open to all kinds of ideas that will help us get there. Next, please. This is the 5-year plan, as you can see. We're still on that journey. We started this conversation about 2018. This is 2020. I know that this year we kind of ran into a roadblock because of COVID. We haven't made any traction this year. So we may have to adjust that goal to accommodate the unusualness of 2020. So we are hoping to hit our target late 2022 or early 2023. So we're going to need all your help. Everybody, all hands on deck to make this happen. Thank you very much for listening, and you all have a great day. Thanks. Bye.
Ooh, yeah. Why boy so long? Shawty pull up in the backside, go. Me sorry big gele, I'm making happy me shady. All the girls calling me baby, see me see baby. Fine boy wake cause I be seeing baby. Tell me what you need again. Mama forget, sit back babe. Me happy complete package. Oh, me happy fight for your love, but I don't be beg for your love. I don't be beg for your love. I know be beg for your love, for your love, but I know be beg for your love. I know be beg for your love.
When the bed to the enter body, all the girl them go shake their body, go shake their body. Oluwabana mo gbona belly, they mo gbona belly. You know the money you take up police, me I dey love you gone.
Yeah, whiskey, yes, your body risky. 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 You know I'm gonna be whiskey, yes, your body risky. Yeah.
What you buy now, what you elevate? Ori mi kole abane. I'm bad belly want to suffocate. With the bad doing the qualificate. All I told be I'm a party with it. Oh, I told be I'm a party with it. But the told be I'm a party with it. They were it. Somebody.
Yeah, your body come. Yeah. Where you wind up from me up? I swear your body come. Oh. Love the way you bend it from me up. Girl, you know I'm at you. You like more than she wrote. Say my baby, no one like you. Say my girl, you like more than she wrote. Girl, call me the paper boy. Take way. But you know you see me a paper boy. Come. come. Everybody know me not a booger boy. Jack around town, me a bigger boy. Fine, jame.
Party after party, yeah. Party after party, party after party, after party after party, yeah. Party after party, yeah. Party after party, yeah. Party after party, after party after party. Okay, we lit, so we turn up. Vibe on vibe, yeah, we burn up. When the party at, I'ma run up. Going all night, sun up. Going off like a rocket launcher.
Angelina, you the cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver. I no go fall in your hand never. So now me you could love forever. I'm a cocky no feeble letter. I'm a Angelina, I'm a Angelina. Oh, me all down. Anytime when I see you for the club or the television, your body. Sure you know safety when you carry 50 kills somebody. You know I feel a vibe, so baby wanna come. Yeah. And I know you shy, but it's cool when we're making love. On the low, 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 on the low.
Yeah. Confuse me. Tell me why you dey confuse me, oh baby. Your body too attractive, and the way I fall for you, it dey be like magic. Oh no, the way you dey me, I go dey, and I no go fit to come another day. Although I go to call you my baby, and together we go dey, we no go fade away. We say that you in my mind, say you no be outside, no be. Run away, make you fly away. Oh no. Why we say that you in my mind? Say you no be option, no be lie. Oh yeah, make you fly away, make you run away. Call on me, easy, around. Hey, they know my story. From old dogs to you, I be hustle to work. Say, little elephant, me and see. From old dogs to you, we been hustle to work. Say, little elephant, my people there, my people suffer. Them they pray for blessing. Hey, little elephant, my people there, them they pray for blessing. For better living, Keynote, aye ole to yo, aye oni double, adura lo le se o, call on daddy, adura gba issue anybody, I forward I am feeling good tonight. This thing got me thanking God for life. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. What have you do to get your love? Girl, I don't give you all I got, but it's not enough for you. Sure you fire me, got a pot of you. Now I be say I don't be getting enough of you. Yeah, waiting me down, nothing I can't do for my baby. Anytime when you need me, come through me, my shawty, wallet. Waiting me down, nothing I can't do for my baby. My shawty, go take it. My baby, say you there for me. As I there for you. Look at me, baby. How is that? Are you okay? Are you okay? Come to my bedroom, cause I'm out there for you. Are you okay? Are you okay? I want to use my money to scatter your brain for you. Permit me.
I love you. I want to use my to ship to your womb. Oh, come it to me. You're not the baby, mama. She say, I am, if I tell you, say I love you, oh. My money, my body, now your own, oh baby. 30 billion for the account, yo. Yeah, Versace and Gucci for your body, oh baby. No do, gotta for me. No do, say that, oh. No do, shakara, oh, eh. No do, gotta for you. Girl, you're beautiful too. My number one in tutu. Sipping bruku tutu. For your love it tutu. I go chuku. Biko obianuju. Sure you do me juju. I'm feeling the juju. Every time, why am I money? You take it. You can have it, you take it. You know I got this, you. I love you. I love you. I love you. There's above you. There's nothing above you. Every time, why am I money? Hello, baby, have you sent? Every time, why am I money? Every time, why am I money? Every time, why am I money? Hello, baby, have you sent it? You don't even know what you do to me. I get follow you for back. Baby, you blow my mind, I don't go lie. See, baby, if you want to leave for Piccoli, don't do shakara, don't they carry your shoulder, oh. As you see me so, baby, now because of you, I don't go. See, I don't go. I'm alright. If the point got to my head, say make I deny you. I go tell them, say lie. Don't be like that. I could spend all of my money on you. Spend a couple million on you. Give you love until you say don't do. Yeah. Special type of feeling that I feel when I'm with you. Oh, the mommy, anytime where I deal with you. I want your heart and soul and your own body too. I can't let you go. I'm going to begin, God. I'm not a qualified doctor. She won't make her give her injection. I'm not a qualified physician. She won't make her give her injection. This girl, they look for my trouble. She won't make her give her injection. The guy tell they look for my wahala. She won't make her give her injection. I'm not a qualified doctor. She won't make her give her injection. I'm not a qualified physician. She won't make her give her injection. This girl, they look for my trouble. She won't make her give her injection. The guy tell they look for my wahala. She won't make her give her injection. Ona ni kuku tinye, kubyo kuzo tinye, kubyuku tinye, mache tinye, umeka naya tinye, Patrick tinye, osona bagu tinye. Oh baby girl, I be the only one dancing girl. Oh baby girl, I be the only one dancing girl. Afumori ongote, amine yin kalaba, oh kalaba. Afumori ongote, amine yin kalaba, oh kalaba. Baby dancing girl, oh baby girl, you go feel 'em well, yeah. Baby dancing girl, oh baby girl, you go feel 'em well, yeah. I'm not a qualified doctor. She won't make her give her injection. I'm not a qualified physician. She won't make her give her injection. This girl, they look for my trouble. She won't make her give her injection. The guy tell they look for my wahala. She won't make her give her injection. I'm not a qualified doctor. She won't make her give her injection. I'm not a qualified physician. She won't make her give her injection. This girl, they look for my trouble. She won't make her give her injection.
From the side of Kaiser
She won't make her give her
It take us an entire political solo. Marcus in the Sigi Bembo. It take us an entire political solo. Marcus in the Sigi Bembo. Sigi Bembo. Marcus in the Sigi Bembo. The Sigi Bembo. Marcus in the Sigi Bembo.
Big shout out to my niece, watching all the way from Orlando, Florida. Talking about ATO2.
Sesame so, Imama yo bomi boro, Imayo wodiyo, Bani magam nevole, Ukulesen namo nevole, Bani mao nevole.
I see you.
It take us men.
Wema.
Marcus in the Sigi
Hope you're all having fun out there.
Sigi Dr. Mrs. Linda, yeah.
We gotta spread love.
Senator Florence Itagiwa.
There's nothing like unity, there's nothing like one. There's strength. Big shout out to their fix. Or should I say Efik?
It takes me down for what it goes sorrow. Sigi Bembo. Sigi Bembo. Sigi Bembo. It takes me down for what it goes sorrow. Marcus in the Sigi Bembo. It takes me down for what it goes sorrow. Marcus in the Sigi Bembo. It takes me down for what it goes sorrow. Marcus in the Sigi Bembo. It takes me down for what it goes sorrow. Marcus in the Sigi Bembo. It like you are keep by don't need that. I know for your bow, and you get it in Pokaya, Kupio, this is given. Oh, and come on, Benayade. Oh, Abongi Elimoke. Sigi Bembo, hope your man Sigi Bembo, or Nari Sigi Bembo. To all the brave men of our country, Sigi Bembo. To all the great ladies in Nigeria, Sigi Bembo. I'm in the Adiaga and go. Cross River State, Yamingo.
Calabar boy. Now me be big carrier. Sariki full up the place, yeah. A Calabar boy. Now Mixmaster Brown. Now Mixmaster Brown. See, DJ Mixmaster Brown. Now they beg you make you play that song. DJ Mixmaster Brown. Now they beg you make you play that song. He did make me wanna dance. He did make me wanna wine. He did make me wanna party hard. Yeah. DJ Mixmaster Brown. Now they beg you make you play that song. DJ Mixmaster Brown. Now they beg you make you play that song. He did make me wanna dance. He did make me wanna wine. He did make me wanna party hard. Yeah. Calabar boy. Calabar monster. The way you they mix those things, you they make everybody start to wonder. Like, you're a bad guys. You're a bad son. The way you they do those things, everybody wanna feel you. Best African DJ. Yeah. Calabar boy, African, yeah, you know. Yeah. You know he's a bad man. You know he's a bad man. You know he's a bad man. Mixmaster Brown.
Baba God, now your hand working. Now your hand working. I say, it's not easy. To the sing and the dance and the people, they rejoice.
my brother, my sister, no be today. If you could do a party, you make with the tango, yeah. Baba God, now your hand working. No be lie, I say no be lie, no be everybody. Why sleep for night to wake up, see the light, yeah. See the future is bright, yeah. I need the enter for eye, yeah. Make you do your best, yeah. Papa God go handle the rest, yeah. Even if you no get money, they jolly they shake body. No need to get your body. If it no be God way, that's some baby dead body. Nobody be no baby. When you fall, you go stand up again. You try them again and again and again. Cause it's not easy, yeah. To the sing and the dance and the people they rejoice, yeah. My brother, my sister, no be today. If you could do a party, you make with the tango, yeah. Baba God, now your hand working. I see my people on a good day. Nobody wake up for this one to suffer. Turn a bad day. Now you're on today, another man tomorrow. My brother, which kind of life it is? Everybody getting nowhere to follow. Try, but you know easy. Even if you know it.
Oh, big God, for good job. Calaba, my Calaba, Calaba, Mama, Calaba, baby, Calaba, Unendi, and Unere, Mamma, Adolfi, Calaba, South Calaba, don't go, Calaba.
Hello, everyone. I hope you are well. Mokom Indito Efik. I'm trying with my Efik. We're learning. My name is Dr. Sandy Asari Hogan, and I have the distinct pleasure of presenting or introducing our next speaker, Dr. Patrick Effium. So, born in Lagos, Dr. Patrick Effium is the Crown Prince Kwan Clan of Calabar. He holds a BA in History and Psychology from Yale University, an MSW and PhD from Indiana University. He's a proud U.S. veteran and has worked as a clinician in hospitals, schools, and several other places. He is the former president of the Monroe County United Way board in Bloomington, Indiana, and has served as a board member for many other organizations such as the Red Cross and the Hope Foundation, and is also a former chairman of the Golden Hope Foundation in Chicago. He is a beloved member of the Divine Nine as a member of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated since 1983. He's married to Dr. Patricia A. Effium for over 40 years. They have been blessed with 2 sons and 2 daughters and 4 grandchildren. He provided a quote that says, "Be nice to those you meet when you are up, for you may meet them on your way down." I look forward to this session with Dr. Effium.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Asari Hogan. You've done such a wonderful job. You're such an organized lady. Proud to have you as my Divine Nine sister. Before I start, I just want to shout out to the president of this great association, Mr. Emmanuel Nsemo. And I also want to say big thank you to all the people that worked in putting this great occasion together. And I want to say hi and big thank you to my Ebon, my sister, my friend, Mrs. Ayambi, and also to each and every one of you listening to me today. I will start by telling you that it's never easy going in from one culture to the other. Some of you are born in different cultures. Some of your parents are not Efik. They probably half Efik, half Yoruba, half Ishekri, African Americans, Caucasian Americans, you say it all. But our culture is a unique culture. Our culture comes with values and our culture comes with integrity. The first question I'm going to ask you is, what do people say? How do people refer to us as Efiks? Okay, a bunch of guys with white shorts, a piece of colorful clothes like what I got on, wrapped around their waist. They wear beaded shoes and special caps like the one the DJ had on around their necks. They wear special clothing, and also they wear some traditional outfit in great display. Efiks have these peacock feathers in their houses, some Efiks, and quaws. This peacock feathers signifies how proud we are. We are a proud people. We are a proud community. We are a proud nation. We are very, very proud. We don't look down on anybody, but we're proud of what we are. We are not greedy folks. We're proud of what we have, and we don't care about what we don't have. If you growing up, a lot of the honest positions in Nigeria that require integrity were even always given to the Efiks. Your parents would always tell you, do whatever you do, but don't disgrace us and don't disgrace our culture. We need to go back to those good old days, raise our children that way, so that they can understand the importance of our value and the value of our culture. It's always very difficult coming, like I said earlier, coming into a culture with different challenges. We teach our children, we tell our children, you got to be ethics here, but at the same time, we are in a dominant culture. We go to school, in high schools, you have different groups. You have the gangsters, you have the preps, you have the hicks in some of our American schools. Our kids are caught in between. Sometimes, if they try to fit in some of the, try to pick up some of those values, parents will scream at them and say, hey, I sent you to school to study. And also sometimes our children over there find, even though they are typical Americans, find it very difficult to fit in because they have to master the language at home, the culture at home, and in school and in society, they have to be Americans. Also, religion is another aspect. Growing up, I grew up Catholic. The dominant religions in those days in Calabar were the Protestant and the Presbyterian Church and the Catholic Church. We had to go to Mass every Sunday in the morning. We had to attend meetings with our parents, Calabar Catholic Association. We had to basically speak the language at home. I grew up, both my parents are Kwa. I also have some Efik blood. We had to speak Kwa at home, and we had to speak Efik. But the dominant culture there in Lagos was Yoruba. Around our friends, we had to speak Yoruba. Our parents made it a point of duty not to learn the language, not to speak the language, because they wanted us to speak Kwa at home, or Efik. If they mastered the Yoruba language, they were afraid it was going to make them speak Yoruba to us. So they wanted us to master our own culture. As a matter of fact, how do we show off this culture? Growing up in Lagos, I grew up in a place called Surulere. That was the center of the Efik culture on Christmas Day. We tied our wrappers, dressed traditionally, and there was the Ekpe masquerade. There was the Abang dance. There were all kinds of festivities. And I mean, a lot of people, they would say, hey, Egungu Kalabambo, that is the Efik masquerade coming. And a lot of people took a lot of pride, and we took a lot of pride in our culture. And also, as parents, how do we do this? We should learn, accept our children's interests. When in our generation growing up, you couldn't ask questions except you were told to. You had to sit down and listen when adults were in the house. I got in trouble a few times because my parents would be having some intellectual discussions about the country. I'll be listening and I'll get involved in these conversations. Guess what's going to happen when the visitors leave? I was going to get my own spanking for interrupting the elders when they were at home. I didn't regret doing that because it's helped me where I am today in terms of knowledge, gaining knowledge, knowing a lot. But in order, I had to say to my children, you can ask me all kinds of questions. Some of the questions I asked my parents were, how did you grow up? Who are our uncles? How was your dad like? How was your mom like? Why did you like school? Who are the friends you hung out with? I asked my parents this question. But I know in the Efik culture, and we have something called Nka. Nka meant when you were born, you belong to a group of kids that were born the same time with you. So when we went to Calabar, we attended those meetings. You got to know people who were within your age group. You got to know relatives, and you had activities. You may not be in Calabar, but during activities, your age group's younger would send money home as part of your contribution and part of being a part of a great group. And also, attending activities like this helps a lot in terms of understanding our culture. We need to attend, we need to learn. We shouldn't be ashamed to ask. We also need to guide our children, teach them about our culture. For example, oh man, you don't shake with your left hand. Teach them about the libation. Those were things our parents taught us. Teach them about the things they can hold on to so that when we pass away, they can pass that down to their children and grandchildren. I mean, make all that. Children will usually adapt to language around. They would, but parents will not. So when you teach your children that language in the early moment, they will always learn the language. Talk about your own upbringing, stories your parents told you about. Sometime when we went to the village, at night, there was a storytelling session. I remember one particular one, because after every story, the elders wanted to know what you learned from the story. I'll say this right quick. There was a lady that had some children. Bella, Bella, Bella City, Bella Sikoti, Kwa, Kwa, Kwa. The mother liked everybody, but did not like Kwa, Kwa, Kwa. Every day, she would want to feed the other children. She would call Bella, Bella, Bella City, Bella Sikoti, but Kwa, 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 don't come. She kept doing this until one day, Bella, Bella, Bella City, Bella Sikoti were mauled by a lion. She only had one child left, and that was the Quack, Quack, Quack. And she had to beg Quack, Quack, Quack for forgiveness because she had treated her so mean, different from the other children. What does that story teach us? It teaches us to be nice to people when we are up, for we might meet them on our way down. That's the story. And also, our children are really some of our children are suffering. They're suffering from depression. They're suffering from anxiety. They're suffering because we as parents don't communicate with them the way we should in this culture. They're trying to fit in school and they're trying to fit in at home. And we kind of look at them like, you'll get over it. And before you know, it gets so worse. Let's take this child through counseling. No, I don't believe in counseling. The witches are trying to kill my child. There's nothing wrong. Instead of looking at the whole big picture, looking at the psychosocial factors, does my child have a lot of friends? Does she participate in the Efik organization? Does she fraternize with people in school? Do people tease her or tease him at school? What do we do as families to help to solve this situation? That is when the intervention comes into place. When that child sometimes becomes very, very oppositional, we call it in psychology oppositional defiant disorder. They refuse to go to school. They refuse to fraternize. They're very, very angry. And we keep looking at them like, hey, ain't nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. But there's something wrong. We need to listen to our young people. We need to talk to our young people. We need to engage our young people. We need to ask them questions. We need to allow them to ask us questions. We need to proudly tell them about our culture. I'm from Ikorensa. It's the home of St. Patrick's College, Calabar. Most of my family members, most people in my hometown attended St. Patrick's College, Calabar. With the exception of my precious cousin that I look up to, Mrs. Grace Upong, her family was Hope Waddell. So Dad will tell me the competition between him and Grace's father, because he was Hope Waddell. They both grew up in the palace. And Dad will tell me so much about St. Patrick's that I know so much about St. Patrick's College, Calabar. I've never stepped my foot on St. Patrick's campus, but I always consider myself an adopted patrician. Hope Waddell fans, don't be mad. I still love you all, but I'm just telling a story. So with this, I will say to you, always love God. Always love your country. Always love your family. And always love your neighbors as yourself. Thank you.
So someone said,
Uh,
thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We have a little bit of time, so I just wanted to ask you about just your experience. I know you have mentioned that you actually came from Nigeria here at an early age, and I imagine that that transition has been difficult. So could you talk a little bit more about, particularly, as an Efik, coming here and trying to learn the culture, and then how you've kind of navigated that space?
Okay, when I came here, I was right out of high school. I grew up in Lagos, which is like coming from any big city in the world. And coming there, I came here with that Lagos pride and the Efik pride. And I never believed anybody was better than me. I thought, hey, I'm up there. Even in school, they looked at me like, where are you from? Nigeria. Do you guys still live on the tree? Yeah, we live on the tree. How did you get here? Oh, you got lions? Yes, I got lions. I got tigers. They all came with me at the airport. Are you serious? I say, yeah, as a matter of fact, President Carter was in Nigeria in 77. We all slept on the tree. That was the fun I made. And then when I got in here, I researched everything, school organizations, leadership abilities. And then I decided to pledge in a fraternity, which was my goal. And then secondly, I always wanted to be in the military. My parents were not big on that. They just wanted me to go to school. So I went into the officers training program, became a commissioned officer, went to Ranger School, Airborne School, Air Assault School, Special Forces, and then deployed to different parts of the world. So it wasn't very difficult for me, but it was very difficult for some Nigerians that I had to mentor. Sometimes you're born to be a leader. Wherever you go, it follows you. And you'll always, that leadership ability shows. You know, there are two different types of leaders. Some leaders are picked, some leaders are born, and some leaders emerge as things go on.
Wish I had my notebook with me so I could have taken down some notes to quote you on Instagram and Facebook. I think one thing that has been really interesting in attempting to pull this together is learning just all of the different nuances to our culture and the impact that history plays on it. So the theme of our conference is the future of our culture. And as the keynote speaker, I'm just curious as to what you believe or what you think the future of our culture is and where we're headed.
Dr. Asari Hogan, you may be younger, but you're my hero. With what you put together, oh my gosh, we got a bright future with our culture. We just need to bring everybody together, regardless of their beliefs. We are one small family. It's hurting our children. It's hurting our families. When families don't communicate with families, when families don't get along, we need to put aside that BS and just get together with that. Our children, these young people are watching us, the way we carry ourselves, the way we behave in public, the way we do things. They emulate some of the things we do. And we need to stay positive and teach them and continue to teach. What you're doing right now, what you young people are doing right now, somebody here will go home with one or two ideas. And next year, they'll gain more ideas. A couple of years, they'll gain more and more ideas. And our culture will never die by God's grace.
So, Sango, see, my Efik is getting better.
Oh,
so a few things. I know we have a few minutes left in the session. So you've talked about, you know, our future, and the future is the youth or the youth adjacent.
Yeah.
What are some ways, and I know we'll talk about this in later sessions, particularly tomorrow, but what are some ways that you think that we can better bridge the gap between some of the younger generations and ourselves? I'll just add, just in this experience, the fact that I've just learned so much. And again, I come into this because of my father and, you know, his involvement. So it's just something that has been ingrained in me.
Yeah.
From a young age, but there's still a lot of things that I don't know or don't understand. And so how do we start to bridge that? And there are also a lot of things that we just can't find for you know, young Efiks maybe born in the United States and are very removed from the culture. So what are some ways that you think we could bridge that gap?
For example, I was a speaker in one of the Anang conventions. One of the things I learned from their young people was this. They make a trip home to their home states every couple of years or something. They do medical mission, they visit the elders, they visit the elderly, they raise money for kids in schools, and they hang around for a couple of weeks and learn a lot of things going on ground over there. And what the young people here can do is this: we have technology now. We can have some of the elders, like your dad, like Mrs. Yambi, be speakers on Zoom to some of them about what's going on, and sometimes someone to give them information or talk to them about what's going on in our country, in our hometown right now, like the kidnapping. What do we do to stop the kidnapping? How do we empower the government? You young people have a very strong voice. And that strong voice can go across the ocean to our hometown, to our home state, to make changes in our home states. Those are some of the things that could be done. This shouldn't end tomorrow for a whole year. We should put a committee of young people together to have speeches, to have not just conferences, 1 hour every quarter, 1 hour every quarter. Maybe that will go to every other month or something. Those are some of the things I think our young people can do. And we also need to encourage them. We can't beat them down all the time. We need to encourage them. We need to say to them, you did a good job, but these are some of my suggestions on what we can do in the near future to make things better. Look, when you look at someone, you need to study the personality before you start yelling at them like they yelled at us at home. It doesn't necessarily work with everybody, it works with some. Some people respond by you being calm. Some people respond by you taking them to the sides. Some people respond by you calling them out in public. So you learn everybody's personality and then pick out the strength, focus on that person's strength. We really, really need to encourage our young people. That is pertinent beyond anything else. And I would also encourage our young people, reach out to the people in other groups, the young people. Don't worry about what their parents say, because they really want to communicate with you all. They all want to be a part of this. And I will try my best also to reach out to relatives and including my own children to bring them up on the phone. My children love our culture. They can tell you everything about where their dad grew up. They ain't never been to know Joel by where I grew up, but they know everything about my high school. They know everything about the people I went to school with, because I tell them, I teach them that all the time.
So you said a lot, so I'm going to try to unpack. So I have a lot of things were going through in my mind as you were speaking. So I'm gonna start with the thing I heard just most recently, and then I'm gonna work my way back. So this idea of engaging with other youth, no matter what side, if you will, and I wasn't even gonna go there. I will say that, and it actually ties into my other point. I will say that, as young people or young-ish people, if I could be frank, and with the utmost respect, we're frustrated with our elders. And we are trying. We are actually, we've all been in conversation about things that we can do apart from you all. But again, when it comes to traveling home, when it comes to understanding culture, we need guidance as young people. Because you all are the holders of that knowledge and of that culture. And oftentimes those things don't get shared with us. So even in a forum like this, we may come to a convention, but sometimes it's a reunion for you all, because some of you all went to school together, you know each other, but we as young people sometimes find it very difficult to know ourselves. And so I'll say this, and again, this is not to be controversial or anything, but division does not serve us as Efik people, no matter what side you're on. And in my opinion, as long as you're serving Efik people, you're serving Efik people. And that's where I know myself and many other young people come to, no matter where you are, what side of the line you're on. The next thing that I wanted to just bring out is a lot of people have really talked about going home to Calabar. So it's my favorite thing to do. Last time that I went home was in 2017. And I will say that the thing that, and we only have a few minutes, the thing that actually really discouraged me is to see the digression of progress in our home state, and particularly in Calabar. Because I remember going back some time ago, and the festival during Christmas was very vibrant.
Mhm.
I mean, the streets were ablaze, and then I went home in 2017, and the energy was completely different. And so I think we feel that, and we want to find ways to be able to contribute at home. So with the last minute that we have in this session, I just want to again say thank you, Sosongo, so much for being here and offering your spirit and your knowledge. And I just hope that moving forward that you'll continue to be a resource for us as an Efik elder.
I will, and thank you so much, and I love you all, and God be with you all, and you guys stay safe, and bye.
I just want to thank Dr. Patrick Effium for his remarks and for the question and answer that was a little bit impromptu. We are taking a 5-minute break, and we will come back with our next session. Sosongo.
Welcome back. Get ready to explore our rich culture through language and story. Meet our next presenter, Mrs. Joan Effiong, also known as Auntie Timma. Auntie Timma is a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and an author. She's also the co-founder and president of Jannar Charity Foundation Incorporated, an organization that provides medical, educational, and agricultural needs to women, children, and the elderly, and is also the poor in Calabar, Nigeria. For more information about Auntie Timma, please see the speaker page. Without further ado, welcome Auntie Timma.
Vowels and the consonants. Okay. Okay. Ekomdo Nitoite. Thank you very much for allowing me to be on this platform with you, young adult, moving us into the new era with technology. My audience are usually the beginners of Efik learners and those desiring, like my friends, my English friends who want English. So it is the basics. So welcome to ABC 123 Efik language, spurned by my children who were born here in America and wanted to know a little bit about their heritage. Efik language is divided into two sections. It comes from the alphabets, and we'll divide the alphabets into two sections, the vowels and the consonants. The vowels are those words that are long. They have long sounds, and they are A, E, O, U. So if you went to school with me in my days, that's how we learn. A, E, O, U. A, E, O, U are vowels and they make long sounds. Example of that in our word, something like abang. And abang can be a play that the women, dances. You see that most of the time in conferences. Or it could be a form of a pot in those days where we as children will go to the stream and fetch water and it's stored in there. So abang, and you could hear the long sound, abang. You could hear obu, crayfish, which we use in cooking. You could hear itong, you could hear ebe, husband. You could hear edit, your hair. You could hear ufo, the house. You could hear the name okun. So you could hear those sounds. Those are the vowels. Other words then, like one, just short sounds, are from the consonants. Okay, then we proceed to the pronouns. Pronouns are divided into two sections: possessive pronouns, singular pronouns, and plurals. So you would hear something like me, meaning I. That is a pronoun. That is a possessive. That is a singular pronoun. And you would then hear afu, which is you, okay, to the second person. And then you would hear nyan, plural, we. Okay? So those are how the Efik words are going to be lining up. We will be putting this in sentences as we go down the learning section. Then we go to counting. Let's do some counting, 1 through 20. There you would hear tie, 1, iba, 2, ita, 3, inang, 4, itiun, 5, itiotit, 6, itiaba, 7, itiaita, 8, usuktit, 9, duop, 10, duobetit, 11, duobeba, 12, duobeta, 13, duobenang, 14, efet, 15, efretit, 16, efreba, 17, efreta, 18, efrenang, 19, 20. Are you learning that long sounds? Do you hear it there? Do you hear it there? Okay, okay. Let's move on. So example of that, when my kids were growing up, were young, and we wanted a safety code, I would say to them, ewerusuktit, ewetit, ewetit, 911. Ewerusuktit, ewetit, ewet, 911. That's example of our counting. All right. Then we look at the words. I call it like commanding words, common words that we use. Dami, meaning stand there. Dimi, meaning come here. Kako, meaning go there. Dibo, meaning come and take. Omoyom, do you want some? Sosong, and I've heard sosong, thank you. Tie, sit down. Da, stand up. Okay. So if I wanted to do something with my kids and I would tell to them, Dimi, Dibomi, come and take it. Dado, and I'm using that with my grandchildren right now. Dado, that means get away from there. Okay, so you hear that. All right, let's move down to gender identification. Gender identification. In the gender identification section, you would hear the words, and we're going to divide it into male and female gender. So when I say ma, it comes from the female section. I am referring to women, ladies, and all that. When I say ete, I'm referring to the masculine section of my people. And so you would hear eka, meaning mother. Ete, meaning father. Eyen, meaning a person, a baby, or, eyen, a person. Eyen ekami, that means my siblings, one of my siblings. And it could be eyen eka, it could be a brother, it could be a sister, but eyen eka, me. We're putting in sentences now. Eyen eka, me. My siblings. Eyen eka, ete, me. That is an uncle, because we hear ete, we hear eyeneka. Okay, my siblings, my father's side, ete, eyen eka, eka, me. This is from my mother's side, my aunties. All right, okay, we are doing so good. Let's move on then to parts of the body. Parts of the body. Iso, meaning face. Inwa, meaning mouth. Edit, meaning teeth. Ukut, meaning foot. Iset, meaning chest. Enyan, meaning eye. Ibut, meaning head. Utong, meaning ear. So if I wanted to put it in a sentence, I'll say to you, Keyet iso fo. Go and wash your face. Iso fo. Ka kotok inwa. Go and brush your teeth. And the one that my kids love and I loved when they were growing up is Kbi Nuafo. Kbi Nuafo. So if we're in a place and I just wanted to tell them to be quiet or to not respond to something, I would say Kbi Nuafo. And if I want them to let go something, I would say Bong or Kunam. All right? Okay. Okay. Let us move on then to names of the objects. Names of the objects. Ufok, house. Ukokoro, table. Ipang, spoon. Ukamudia, fork. Mong, water. Aran, oil. Akpakara, chair. Wet, book, and a lot of you are in school. So let's put that in. Oh, and the one that I really love is Benetap. Does anybody out there know what Benetap is? The youth will not know, but Benetap is pencil. So let me put it in a sentence for us. Ami, nka, ufo, ngwe. Ami, remember that? Ami, what did I say it is? I, Ami, nka, ufongwe. I am going to school. Ami, nyene, beneta. I have a pencil. Very good. All right, let's move on to fruits. Mburu, banana. Popo, sokuru, orange. Good. Now, salutation. This is important. This is important because Efik people are very, very respectful. You cannot wake up in the morning and you don't say something recognizing another person. So in our culture, salutation is important. And it's based on the time of the day. So good morning is mesiere. Mesiere. Amie warade. Good morning. Usenobo. Good afternoon. Uwemeyo. Night. Ukuneyo. So if I'm going to say something to somebody, I would say, Mesiere ma. Good morning, ma. Mesiere ete. Ete. Ma esiero. Ma good night. Ma good ete good night. Remember ete ma night day of the time. You put that together to make your salutation. All right. We have done a lot in that area. We've added the agenda and the time of the day to make our salutation. So remember, when you go somewhere, welcome, Emedio, Emedi, welcome. Sansungo, bye-bye. Sansungo, bye-bye. So in there, you would hear those long sounds and the short sounds. So those are the building blocks of Efik language. It starts from the vowels, the consonants, and mixing them together. And then most importantly, respecting your elders with your salutation. All right, let us then move over to story time. Are you all ready for story time? We're going to start by singing. This time you don't need my glasses on, so you can see this. Story time. Story time. Good is it? Bam, 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 bam. We're here to learn a story. Bam, 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 bam. We're here to sing a story. We're here to hear a story. The story. Hey, hey, hey. Okay. It says in our language, then it says, Um, I just lost my song. It was okay. Well, let's go back. I'll come back to that sound. That sound that I need for. Let's take a break for a second. We'll come back to that story. Okay. You know, this story is from Enwang. Enwang is off Calabar, you know, a rural place from Calabar. Many, many years ago, and this is going to be a bilingual because you're going to hear some Efik words there and then you're going to have some English. Again, my audience being those that are learning Efik, okay? So we have to ease them in, okay? So, many, many years ago, way, way, way before Papa Mama was born, Enwang was created. You see, the sky god was so great. He made so many things. He put out the blue skies, and on the blue skies, there were many kinds of birds. One of the birds that we like is called utere, which is the. And there's another one that is a parrot, and we call it a tniko. So the Lord made so, sky god made good blue skies. And then he looks down and he saw, oh, streams. And he said, I would make oceans with full of fish, different kind of fish. I will bless Enwang. And in the ocean, we had Isanthum, which is the hippo. We have many kinds of fish. Iyak, ami, awakde, iyalupo. We have shark, ami egode, iba. They all live there. And then the sky god looked ahead and he says, wow, I've done wonderful things. I am so glad of what I have created. And he looks down, and down there he saw the rolling brown hill. And he said, oh, the rolling brown, sandy brown hill of Enwang. And in there I will bless you with forest. And in the forest, he places many kinds of animals. Egbe, yemikode leopard, yemikode lion, moru, enang, bukru, ayem yekode cow, ayem yekode goat, amiodide goat, ayenam bukrumpo, asana yem yekode lizard, amiodide pok, bukrum moedudu, ayem ate, oh, I have done so beautifully. I've created all of this thing, but I'm missing something. What is it that I'm missing? A man that would be in charge of all my creation. Then he created a man. He said, you will be in charge of all these wonderful things that I have created, and I will bless you. You would also multiply. You see, the man then started, and Enwang became a beautiful place full of children, parents, uncles, aunts, all living, enjoying all this creation. And then one day, the humans are getting more and expanding. And Chief Mpang just could not handle this multitude of people. And so he thought in his brain, how would I manage all of these people? And so he decided to put a system of command in place. So each family would have a head. And from the head, if there is an issue, if the family could not solve the issue, then they would take it out to the community, and the community have, chiefs and all of those who would help. And even women too, who would help to solve. And so he thought, what would I do? And so he could not, he didn't want to upset his people. But one day he remembered in his anxiety and dream that there is an animal called ikut, which is a turtle, that he would send for Ikut to come down and help him process how he's going to break this news to his citizens, that he will now institute a new form of chain of command. So not everybody can just walk in to the chief and talk to the chief. You have to go through a system. And so he was so worried that when he met Ikut, Ikut came and said, I have an idea for you, Obong, for sending me, calling for me. And you know that I live in the oldest animal, so I could help you. He suggested to Chief Mpang that when you ready to do this, let's call the community, the birds of the air, the fish of the ocean, the forest animals, let them all gather, and you ask your man to step out and tell you how they would want, who should be their spokesperson. So a time come, the Chief Mpang did that, and he called for the people and he said, you know, you are an individual made up of many parts, and I can have all of you coming to talk to me. So we will need you in your body parts to decide who will be your spokesperson. And I'll give you a couple of days to think about it, and then we will all reconvene. Well, then the time comes, everybody came again, the birds of the earth landed, the forest animal showed up, the fish swam, all waiting to see how human being is going to process and make a determination about who the spokesperson would be. So the day come, a man stepped up and he says, you are a people of many body. Who is going to be your spokesperson? So the upper part of the body says, we know who's going to be our spokesperson. We would choose the eye. The eye would be our spokesperson because the eye can see far and can tell us where trouble is brewing, and they can take precaution. Beautiful, beautiful, everybody claps. Then it went down to the middle part of the body and says, who do you choose? Who do you choose? And the body says, oh, no problem there. We choose the stomach, because you see the stomach is an indicator of when we are full, when we are not full, and when things are not quite there. So that would be our person. Great, great. They went down then to the middle part of the legs, and they said, who do you think? Who do you think? They said, no problem. We have just chosen the foot. Ukut. Because you see, we can go to the farm without Ukut. So, hey, Ukut is a person. Beautiful. Now, there's one part of the body that has not spoken. Do you guys know who that part of the body is? I'm going to help you out. Okay. That is the hand. So they called the hand and said, okay, what about you folks? Well, the hands come down wimpily and they said, well, Basimbok, we could not decide. We could not decide. Why couldn't you decide? He said, we have 5 of us and we all do wonderful work. Well, they're messing around, but the king said, no, you have to decide now who your spokesperson is. Okay. So after moaning and groaning, the thumb, step right up and at that. I'm in there, song them. I am the stronger one of you all. Without me, you can't do anything. The master cannot hold anything. I should be the one to speak. Okay. Then, Ayoiba, the second one stepped right up and says, I am the pointer, natural born leader. Let me be the one. You know, I could just point directly and tell you what's happening. I'm insightful. Okay. Ayoita, the third one stepped right up and just says, whoa, look at me, I'm the tallest. I could just see what's happening and I could warn my brothers and sisters, you know, of the danger. So let me be. Beautiful, beautiful. Ayoina, we don't even have to talk about this. I am the prettiest of all, the most responsible. You see, when time comes, when the masters are finished, doing hard work and wants to go out and enjoy him or herself, what do? They put a ring on my finger because I'm the one so responsible. Well, that's good. And then he comes for the little baby, oh, please, what is the pinky can do? What do you pinky, you little person? You're the last born in the family. What do you think you can do? Well, he moaned and groaned, but the Chief Bang said, we have to give Pinky, the little one, a chance to speak. So the little one stepped right up and she says, I am soft-spoken. I'm very soft-spoken. But let me ask you, my brothers and sisters, when the master is not happy, things are not going well in the farm, in the community, what does the master usually do? They said, again, you're messing around, waste the time, step aside. But the king said, no. Chief Mpang said, no, we have to hear from the little one. And so the little one went on there and he says, brothers and sisters, can you please put your hands together? Put your hands together for me. When you put your hands together, who is in the front? Who is in the front now? He says, oh, wow. How? Listen to this. The Pinky is now at the front. And Pinky says, when the master is sick, when the master is not feeling good, when the master is worried about things, he sends me. I'm the one who carries the message to the sky god. So let me be your spokesperson. From that time on, open the eyes of the people in Ewang village. Enjoy the diversity, include everyone when we have things to discuss. And then at the end, Item Bang turned around to Ikut and said, oh, Ikut, do you know why the sky god would place different parts of the body in human? Item Bang responded, yes, it is to teach us about our diversity, to help us be inclusive, and to pass on what we know to each generation and generation. Yes! Senyendo. Okay. And I have just a short one to conclude. Ikut again living in Enwang village. Enwang was very rich, and so Obong Okut Adedi Usoro come for the festival of the harvest because everybody has worked so hard. Well, Ikut knows that he is a not so fast animal. And so they set all this up and he crawls down. And when he got to the palace, the only place that he could find was the last seat. In this story, they asked that there would be a competition and they would be serving a lot of soup, peppery soup. And so when Ikut got there, they said nobody can do to win the competition. And everybody there in the seat was taking the soup. The soup was very hot, peppery hot, and they were doing. And so you could point it out all of the other animals that were doing that. And in the process, he won the competition. How did he could win the competition? Do you know? Yes. Thank you. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We are here for our next session that is focused on Efik entrepreneurship. I like to call these individuals Efikpreneurs. We know that entrepreneurship is critical for progress, and these entrepreneurs in the diaspora will share how they connect their work to culture and purpose. So we're going to bring in each one of our speakers slowly but surely. Okay, and we're going to do a brief introduction. You can just put yourselves while we do this brief introduction. That will be fantastic. So, on our distinguished panel, we have Mr. Nkoyo Effiong. Lewis, who is the founder and principal attorney at the Effiong Firm, LLC, an education law firm that advocates unapologetically for excellence and equity. We also have Ete Arok Edem, who is looking quite smashing. I'm digging the fit. He is the owner and founder of House of Estre, a fashion brand that specializes in traditional seated footwear and clothing. We also have Ete Ato. He is the owner and CEO of Ato Boxing, and he uses his years as a seasoned boxing professional and pairs that with his passion for both boxing and health. Next, we have Richard Duke. He is a human resources and leadership development consultant based in the UK and Oman. He is also the chairman of the board of trustees for the Efik Leadership Foundation, NGO, and co-founder of the Efik History Project and Efik Historical Research Forum Group. Welcome, Ete. We also have Ms. Eunice Obianaga, a qualified Prince 2 project management practitioner, a music consultant, and event director for her business, Inspire Management. She has over 12 years of experience in managing complex entertainment and cultural-based projects in the UK and Nigeria. And finally, but definitely not least, we have Mr. Louis Solomon, who immigrated from Nigeria at the right age of 3 with his mother and father, raised in the Bronx, New York, boogie down. He holds a dual degree in chemistry and chemical engineering from Syracuse, and is experienced in a combination of raising capital for business, small business, private equity, and real estate investment. So I just want to welcome and thank you for being with us today. We won't belabor this. We're just going to jump right into it. Okay? Can everyone hear me okay? Just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And remember, again, if you would just mute yourself when you're not speaking. If you have something that you want to say, I want this to be a very interactive conversation and want us all to be involved. Okay? So no boring stuff because people are watching. Perfect. So my first question for you all is, what does being an entrepreneur or what does entrepreneurship mean to you? And anyone can start. Well, let's start with Louis.
Hello, everyone. So entrepreneurship, what it means to me is just the ability to negotiate, sell, and market a product and bring a quality product to the marketplace and in hopes to gain a profit or a fee. So, you know, when we go into entrepreneurship, we want to make a product and we want to make a profit. But we also want to make change as well. So it's an opportunity to have freedom and change your financial life and your financial future. So that's what entrepreneurship means to me.
Awesome. And you all can just jump in. I'm not going to police this. This is not class. It's a conversation. So who's next? What does entrepreneurship mean to you, and why do you think it's important?
I'll go. Again, I'm Nkoyo Effiong Lewis, practicing attorney at my own firm, daughter of Chief Richard Ogo Effiong and Joan Freong Ayi Effiong. So for me, entrepreneurship is liberation. It is legacy. It is innovation. And so those are the things that guide me in the work that I do and the work that I do with helping others who want to own their time and talent and bring something forth that maybe doesn't already exist in the market. And I agree with my brother there, Louis, that we always want to make sure that whatever we are creating is profitable, but entrepreneurship also is a journey. And so not everything that you start may be finished, but it always will lead you to the next best thing. And so that's why innovation is something that I believe is really an inherent and important part of entrepreneurship. And then legacy, being able to have something to pass down. My firm belief, as someone who has grown up in the United States in a capitalist society, is that you can't pass your job down to your children, but you can create something that they can take and build. And so I'm always intentional about figuring out what I can leave for the next generation so they don't have to start where I started.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. So Louis was talking about bringing things to market. You mentioned legacy. What are some other, what is entrepreneurship? Maybe like what other person, and why do you think it's important?
I was going to add actually, the thing I was going to say you touched on, which is that I think it's freedom for me. That's why it's important to me. It's being able to do almost with my own script. And being able to have variety in what I do as well, in terms of what I'm a consistent, so that means that I can work with lots of different people. So for me, it's about freedom, and I think, like you said, liberty, being able to guide your own steps so you can leave a legacy.
Awesome, thank you. So I'm going to move on to the next question, and I'm really interested because you all do some really different things. And again, to our presenters, if you could mute your microphone while you are speaking. I know some people are having a little bit of difficulty hearing. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. So I know that a lot of you have a wide range and variety of things that you do. But I'm just interested into why you became an entrepreneur. What was the thing that made you pursue entrepreneurship?
I could answer that question. My name is Orok Edem. I'm son of late Vice Marshal Edem. For me, it was about being different. And, the whole idea about House of Ikwe started from attending a wedding. We're all supposed to dress the same way, the groomsmen, everybody in black. I wanted to stand out. And I did something that I thought would never be done. I wore an Efik shoe with my suit. And everybody in the wedding asked me where that was from. They've never seen that. And it triggered something in me that was, this is something we grew up, this is something we mostly took for granted and just wore it on special occasions. And I was, why can't I incorporate this style into people's daily life? At the same time, also promoting my culture and opening my culture to people that would have never heard about the Efik culture or even know the importance of what it is. So that was how my journey started till I've gotten to this part now.
I love that. I like the fact that you took something that normally was, very traditional, and you added a little Efik flair to it. I'll be looking for my own shoe soon. I just want to put my plug in now that we're here and everybody can hear and see. What about someone else? Like, why did you become an entrepreneur?
So I'll take this one. This is Louis again. I guess son of Mary Solomon. She's a big part of the Efik community as well. I was in grad school and I never was taught about entrepreneurship, even though we live in a capitalist society, right? So I was taught by my mom, hey, go to school, make sure that you get a good job. I want to make sure you have a good degree. That's what I was taught. And I started learning, like when I was in grad school, about, hey, what does my life trajectory look like? Everyone that was getting jobs at the time, they were getting really, really good jobs, getting paid very well, but they really didn't like their jobs. And their trajectory was, oh, I'm going to work for the next 40 years of my life, and then I can retire. I'm going to work 5 days a week, and, thank God it's Friday. I didn't want that for myself, right? I didn't want to retire when I was 65 or 70. I wanted to actually retire, like, when I was in my 40s, or have the ability to. And I wanted to be able to create something for my family and the my future generation, my children's children. That's what initially got me started into entrepreneurship. And what actually kept me going and striving for it was like helping people. So just seeing people being able to start businesses, being financially successful. So my company offers funding for entrepreneurs and business owners, people that are wanting to start, and we also teach people how to go along that path. So it was really giving back and showing people like there is another way. Even though you haven't been taught about entrepreneurship, there is another way. There's books out there. There's people out here, just like on this panelist. I'm sure that you've read a lot and you had to change your mentality about entrepreneurship because it is very difficult. So that's what got me started. It was being able to provide for my family and being able to provide for the generations that I can't even see yet.
You had me at retire at 40. I won't share my age. I'll just say that I'm 16, but I could retire at 17 and I'll be happy. So that's great. So those stories are really interesting, and I think one thing about this, and the title of this session, and focusing on entrepreneurship in this way, I think it's really important the influence of culture on entrepreneurship, right? So, in what ways do you believe that entrepreneurship maybe drives culture or vice versa?
My experience with House of Ekpe has been a very beautiful one in terms of even going back to Calabar. I try to go back for the last 3 years every year, and being able to create jobs through this shoe company has been very important to me. The topic will focus on the future of the culture, and I believe that if the culture is not alive, there's no future. So we have to preserve the culture. The shoe beading technique is something that is unique to our culture, and most of the things, like Ete said earlier, is that they're not being handed down. The people that have this ability are very few, especially in Calabar, handpicked. So the idea is to keep funding people that do this so they can pass it down to the next generation to continue doing this hand bidding. Or else this part of the culture will go away the same way cloth making, material weaving from other cultures have gone. I could have done this commercially to make money. I would have gone to China, get a machine that would bead shoes 100 a minute. But with House of Ekpe, we make shoes only by order, and we try to make very limited pairs. So that way, it keeps the whole idea that there's someone actually sitting down in the village, actually beading these shoes. And that's why I always take picture of the process, so people will actually see that this is something that is handed down. This is something that people put their sweat into. It's a representation of my culture. It is what makes it beautiful. And just the ability to be able to create jobs and continue that culture of shoe beading is very important to me, because once you commercialize this, we lose the value of it. And in our culture, I think this is something that is very important. Just like the language, our dress, it's what makes us unique. It's what makes us different.
I really like what you said, and I think we've had a conversation. I think I had a conversation with someone, and they were talking a lot about the commodification of some of our traditional things. And you'll see often that there are other maybe tribes that kind of adopt maybe things that are very traditionally ethic, or that people maybe are benefiting from ethic culture, but are not necessarily giving back to ethic culture in some ways. And so, in that sense, we know that maybe in 2018, Calabar reported maybe a little bit over, close to like 31% in unemployment. And especially with the onset of COVID-19 and everything that's going on there, wage-related strikes, that education and the healthcare system, among other things. I think it's important that we talk about how we encourage entrepreneurship or its pursuits and how we can do that abroad. And so I really want to go this to Richard and Eunice about, what does that mean as an entrepreneur that's not maybe working in the country, right? You're not maybe in Nigeria, but wanting to somehow impact people back home through entrepreneurship and try to really work in a different way to address some of the things that are really, a fight for people in Nigeria and in particular ethnic people.
If I can just rewind a little bit, I think one of the things that's been talked about here and has been said a lot is the word entrepreneurship. But I think, and I picked this up when somebody else was speaking, is that not a lot of entrepreneurs realize they're entrepreneurs. So I think that's one thing. I think that people need to be said, actually, as a shoemaker, as Malam down the road, or whoever you like, so the tailor in the shop in Nigeria and Calabar, allowing them and empowering them to understand that you're an entrepreneur, because having that title empowers people. It makes you feel like, oh, hold on, I'm doing something that people want. There's a demand for who I am and what I am. And I think that's one thing, is just educating people about entrepreneurship and what it actually means, and that actually you're not having to own some big conglomerate or something like that to be an entrepreneur. Actually, your small shop makes you an entrepreneur, and you've got a business that you're running there. So I think part of it is education, and empowering people to understand that they've got value.
Yeah. Richard, you work a lot with the Ethic Leadership Foundation, and a lot of the things that you all do are focused on social entrepreneurship and really trying to address the plight of people back at home. Can you talk about entrepreneurship in the space where you operate, and how that's how you all are being impactful at home, and how other people might be able to support those efforts?
Thank you very much.
Richard, we can't hear you.
Okay. In the Efik, we take a different slant in entrepreneurship. And so we do social entrepreneurship. And that is using your personal resources to create social change in the environment or in the community. And we brought together a group of most Efik people around different platforms from social media into one group. And we decided to not just stay in the diaspora and complain about things back home, but also to make a deliberate to see what we can do to help to make a change. And by doing so, we decided to settle, which is one of the best platforms to create social change. These are personal funds to invest in the NGO. And we decided to pick on a couple of areas of concern within the Efik community. So we decided to address the issue of leadership issues. We decided to intervene in the areas of entrepreneurship. We also decided to invest in areas of issues, health issues, and issues of good governance. And as a result, we are able to make a direct impact in the community. We're able to put together various committees made up of various professionals. So we have in our education committee with educational experts, we've got around 5 of us who come together to help us to intervene, to make a difference as social leaders. Also, we have the entrepreneurship committee. We gather together young Efik entrepreneurs of the world, and they try to invest, and most of them. So we have some young members who are making honey. We've got members who are into soybeans. We've got members who are into various things. So that's the whole purpose of the NGO, trying to create social change and try to sow the spirit of social entrepreneurship into the community. It's not something that has been done before, but we're trying to pioneer making a difference by bringing people together, put things back into the community. That's just a summary.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's really important, and sometimes it's hard for us to fully understand, particularly if you're living abroad, how to be impactful back home. And I love the idea of social entrepreneurship and what that could look like for folks here and abroad and at home. And the other thing I'd just like to comment on is I like the fact that you said that you're not comparing things happening in the diaspora to things at home. You're taking very much a strength-based approach to social entrepreneurship, and I think that's important because I think oftentimes we think about the deficits. We think about all the things that we don't have and how we want to fix them, but we don't think about the things that we do have and how we can leverage those things. And I think that's the one thing about Efik people, right? No matter what situation you find yourself in, you will find a way to leverage something in order to pursue whatever your dream is. And so that leads me to my next question. I want to pose this to Ato and Koyo. Ato, you're a relatively new entrepreneur in your pursuit with your boxing club, and I think you worked a very long time with other boxing entities, and you added value there. What was the thing that made you really just kind of like step out and pursue that entrepreneurial pursuit? And then in Koyo, you are a little bit not older, but more seasoned kind of in your entrepreneurial pursuit. Well, 17, I just was 17, it's okay. In your entrepreneurial pursuit, and I want to hear a little bit about your journey as well. But I thought we could just start with you about, what made you finally step out and, do your own thing. Ato, we can't hear you. I think we're having difficulty hearing you.
Sorry. Okay.
Okay. Well, Ato, while you're getting your sound together, Nkoyi, you want to go ahead and jump in, and then we'll come back to you.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, like others have said, I didn't out thinking that I was going to be an entrepreneur. And when I first started, I didn't necessarily think that I was, quote unquote, an entrepreneur. I was someone who just decided I didn't want to work for a law firm anymore that didn't necessarily represent the same values and convictions that I had. So I left much to my parents' chagrin, I believe at the time. I left a very good job to start something on my own, believing that I had something that I could offer of value to a community that has been historically underserved, particularly in the United States. A lot of communities of color, and especially Black people and even people across the diaspora, have not necessarily benefited from the law. And so I wanted to use my legal background, all of my education and what I had learned from representing big companies and big nonprofits, and bring those to people who are closer to the problems and help them create structure and systems and processes to create the impact that they want in the world. Like it's a Richard there, I am very big on social entrepreneurship. So for me, the answer is always education. Everything is about education. Everything also is legal. And so I decided that I would try to combine those two to help a community get better access to education in this country. And hopefully from doing that, being able to ensure that we are ensuring that every child across the globe has access to a high quality education, because I believe that that is the foundation for all types of innovation, et cetera. And that the culture only shifts when our mindset shifts. And a lot of times mindset shift happens because we know more, we've experienced more, and we're able to take that knowledge and that experience and operationalize it in a way that meets our immediate human needs, as well as then being able to meet the needs. So for me, the journey, I'm not going to give you the Instagram highlights where, everything is good online, your social reel, everything is great. The journey is hard. Like entrepreneurship is hard. It's mastery of oneself, which is the thing that I think really excites me, because I am a lifelong learner and a nerd. So it's always something to learn. There's always place to innovate. There are places to figure out your processes and move forward. And for me, it also gives me an opportunity to show up as my authentic self, and hopefully through representation, show other young girls like me that they too can chart their own path and create something in the world, create a space in the world, create a product, whatever it is, that has universal value, not just to them and their families, but also to the community from which they come or they identify.
Thank you for that. I appreciate you sharing that. So would you like to add about your journey? I think we're still having some sound issues. No worries. We had a comment, and someone mentioned that it's important to give value to local business and how that's vital. And I think as entrepreneurs, right? I guess you are. I mean, you're considered local now, turn into an enterprise. But especially with everything that has been going on in the world, social unrest, there's been a lot of focus on the importance of small business. And so, as, if you will, small business owners, what are ways that people can support the work that you're doing? I mean, obviously money is always good, but there are other ways, right, that people can support your work. And so what are some of those things? And, how would you direct people to support some of the initiatives that you have?
So one of the best ways to support a local business is just to know about them, right? If you go to their website and see what they're doing and get involved with them, like, is it something that aligns with your values? Are they just a company that's looking for, to sell a product or service, or are they doing something bigger? As entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs, it's like a mindset, but building a sustainable business, that's something totally different, So it's very difficult to build a business in America, but it's worth it. And, for my company, our goal is to get as many people funding, like access to capital and access to money, so they can start a business, so they can start their projects. And it's also to get their credit fixed, so they can get the house, they can get the car, they can get these things that were not available to them before. So it's all about access and opportunity and education with us. And if you want to know more about our company, you can head over to limitlessfundingsource.com. Again, that's limitlessfundingsource.com. And, just check us out and see what we have to offer. Thank you.
Anyone else want to add?
One of the things I would like to add, because Mr. Koyo and Ete Richard brought this up, education. I think education is very important, but when we talk about because the idea is to be entrepreneurs and still promote our culture. So I still keep going back to how I think we can approach it by, we that have a platform have to be able to promote the people that we culture from back home. Like, most of them don't have internet, most of them don't have, they're not this versed to do this, but they have products. They are custodians of our culture. Like, you go on the websites, you see these big companies selling beads that the local women back home make. They sell them here very expensive. We have those people that make them back home. I think it's our responsibility for us to promote that side of our culture. It's not only the bad things that happen in Calabar or Cross River as a whole, but I believe that as entrepreneurs, we should be able to use our platform to advertise for these people. Where we go, we put them in a group, as Eterita said. Education shouldn't be only the one that they learn in school. We have to encourage them to go back to creating spaces where people can learn tech, people can learn sewing, people can learn soap making. The little things that we value as a culture, we need to give it the same importance as other things, because not everybody is going to be able to make it out to a certain level, but they should have pride in what they do. And I think the way we promote that and the way we showcase that to the world really matters.
So, Rock, I think I've just elevated you to co-moderator. I think you dropped some serious and important gems, and I think that's the thing that I appreciate the most. This idea of, it's one thing for you to have a business. I think many people can have businesses, so to speak, but the idea that we're also using culture into those businesses as a means to preserve culture and promote culture in some ways, I think is really important. So thank you for those for that feedback.
Sandy, I wanted to jump in. I know we're just at time, but I think Etel Rock makes a huge point there. And I think also it's about us who have certain, I think privilege is something that is dynamic. We all have certain levels of privilege, just like he mentioned, we all have a platform. And so figuring out the ways in which we can leverage our privilege to help others, right? So like I'm literally wearing clothes that was made by my cousin in Nigeria because I want to make sure that I'm intentional when I show up in places, buying from, supporting people who are building businesses as well, right? There are lots of platforms now with technology. I'm so glad that we did this convention online so that people can see that we too can bring our culture online and be able to leverage different sharing economies, right? There is a whole fashion network that actually sources all of their clothing from seamstresses in different countries across Africa, right? So like these are the types of things that we could do. We could figure out how to create a digital book that has every person that we know who, associates himself as Efik and the business that they are in, so that we can look to promote and support in our network first before we go outside to buy. Support is so simple as liking somebody's page, liking a post, sharing a post, like very small things that we can do to raise the awareness. Everyone who's in business knows that if people don't know that you're in business, it's hard to maintain your business. And so I think there's so many small ways that we can show up for each other to help us move our business and our culture forward.
So are you saying something like creating
Can you hear me now, guys?
I can add on to that. I think for me, to take away from this conversation.
So, and then Lewis, I think you had a question.
Yes, I do. Can you hear me? Okay. So I'd like to say thanks for having me and hi to everyone. I'd like to view things from a different perspective. Entrepreneurship is, I think there's foundations to everything, and to be an entrepreneur, I would advise, aspiring entrepreneurs to, first of all, have an identity, know what you're about, because an entrepreneur, basically, he sells a product or a service, and you cannot advertise a bad product. So people should look to improve themselves, and they should be passionate about, their path, what they are about. So passion is first, and then self-improvement, and then you can now, when the time comes, because timing is important, you have to be able to recognize timing to start out. And even when that happens, there's rules to it. I'll use my personal experience. I started my business small, deliberately small, because one is bound to make mistakes, and the cost of making mistakes when you're small is manageable. It's a lot more manageable than when you're starting out, big. And I'd also advise would be entrepreneurs to be willing to learn and to adapt, to changing situations. One also has to have a very thick skin, because there will be rejections, and there's a lot that comes with this. That's why I don't think entrepreneurship is for everyone. That's actually the truth of the matter. I became an entrepreneur by accident. I was working at the gym. As I was working at the gym, I was heading the martial arts section at the gym, and I became dissatisfied with the way that things were being done by people who didn't know, the turf. So I just felt that the time had come for me to go out and do things my own way. Truth be told, money wasn't actually the motivation. So yeah, that being said, so when I started out, I was confident in my product, which is my brand, my service, what I can offer, and for in the time I've come, in the time that it's taken for me to be here, I think I've garnered enough experience to say that it's hard work, it's tough, it's also exciting, but one shouldn't venture into any enterprise except he's really convinced about it and it is his own decision. That's what I can say for now.
So I know that we have gone a little bit over, so thank you for your time. I just want to circle back and just kind of like pull this all in. And I feel like, again, the importance of this particular session and talking about ethic entrepreneurship is really for us to find ways as ethics or people of ethic descent to be able to use the skills that we have to also promote work opportunity and use those skills in service to ethic people and people both at home and abroad. So a lot of things were brought up. Legacy building has been brought up. The idea of investing capital into business and creating opportunity through that investment from Lewis. And Chloe, you mentioned something like a business directory where we actually have an idea of what ethic businesses are out there and how we can support. And shameless plug, give me your cousin's contact information. I need some things made for myself. I know also too, just Eunice, just in our personal experience and the things that you do, the way that you actually craft the work that you do in the music business in order to improve infrastructure back in Nigeria. I mean, there's just so much opportunity. And I think maybe there is an opportunity to create a collective where we're talking about these things more strategically and finding ways to really and for targeted impact. The other thing last thing that I will say is, Atara Rock, you mentioned particularly this idea of items that are being sold here at a high price that are being made at home, and how then can we promote people who are doing the work at home so that they actually benefit from the work that they're doing and supporting their work. And I think there's an opportunity to figure out a way in order to do that in a way that makes sense for both at home and here abroad.
The only thing I'm going to jump in and say though is that
sure,
none of this is going to work if we don't value our culture. Like we can have all the ideas in the world, and that's what I kind of want to say in terms of the whole day and just this conversation. None of this will work unless we start valuing our own culture. So the work that I do in Nigeria at the moment, I've got two kind of strands. I've got my event production work, and also I've got a foundation which is about harnessing the power of music because it's a very powerful tool, and one that the rest of the world are valuing at the moment, and how we can make that an economic asset for ourselves. We can have all the ideas, but we as a people need to value the things that we create, and then we can then build and flourish from it. But that's, I think my sister mentioned, that's the mindset shift we need to start with. That's where we start, I think.
So I think we're going to end on that point. And I just want to say how much I appreciate you all. Hopefully this will not be the last time that we see you, so don't run away. I have your phone numbers, contact information, and I know your parents. So that being said, I want to say, Sasongo, thank you so much. And at this time, we're going to move to our next session with our after party. Again, be back here, same time, same Efik channel, on time, 1:30 with DJ Mixmaster Brown. Thank you all, and hang on for a little bit of a party and discussion.
Take care. Thank you, Andy, for doing this as well.
Yes,
thank you very much, Andy.
Thank you, everyone. An honor to be on a panel with you.
Take care.
Uma
Subangara Paman, Aquamamio, 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 Anacolizão, Yama Messi para
Nantanga pongo kairi. Ete kasara kwasi nantanga pongo kairi. Imami o tu pong mi ban kepo. Nemi ami yunu pong jena kambano. Nene tu kosi de suru febe suru. Imami amara ukosi nemendo. Uko ete kasara kwasi nantanga pongo kairi. Ete kasara kwasi nantanga pongo kairi. Kasara kwasi nantanga pongo kairi. Ete kasara kwasi nantanga pongo kairi. Ete kasara kwasi nantanga pongo kairi. Ete kasara kwasi nantanga pongo kairi. Neno ete puri kong kong libiango. Imami o teoria kongorese. O teoria kongorese attention kwa yente mio. Ete kasara kwasi nantanga pongo kairi. Imami yang tero yubana mio. Nami se nampi mofo. Ete kasara kwasi nantanga pongo kairi. Ete kasara kwasi nantanga pongo kairi.
You can dance the night away. Practicing social distancing. Enjoy. It's been a wonderful event. I'm having a good time.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's me, King Zoro Boy, from No Baby, 007 No Bagger, the World Man. I'm giving you this song. Listen well. I'm a medio, I'm a medio, and I'm a medio. Ima kamine medio, I'm a medio, and I'm a medio. Isoro ma dio, I'm a medio, and I'm a medio. Oh no, we them dio, I'm a medio, and I'm a medio. Abatagara inu mabori mao, oh we don't say dio, and I'm a medio.
I just want to send a special shout out to Mr. President Ete Emmanuel Nsemo. Good job, sir. We're right behind you.
Chana Yeri Papa Isaika Nigeria web, Nigeria web, Isaika Metro Kiswaro Wemo.
Please make it 11, cause you are the one. In days of the week, and them say na 7. I can give it all. Come to me at 12, I give you a dozen. If you gonna do it all. Who for the young of me, no me Dio. I am Buddha and I want me, Daima Dio. Mama Dio. I am Buddha and I want me, Daima Dio. Who for no young so. So, all the love that you have given me, the sacrifice is so, mama. I promise I will make you so proud. The words that you have said to me on the tablet of my heart, it lies. I never let this moral go down. Everything I have, I give to you. I promise I'll never let you down. I got you. Mama Joe, Dio. I am Buddha and I want me, Daima Dio. Mama Dio.
see you know, baby, I'm a young second. I got to go for this next. Come and gala see you in a fine, but my go for you, baby, Gala see you, yeah, Ima can you, 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 Oko Kobiago.
This next song, I promised him I would play during this event. He wanted to make sure his Efik brothers and sisters get to know about him right here in the US. All right, let's go. Full records. Check him out on YouTube.
Are you sure? Let me know you can do this thing. Are you sure you are ready to dance till you fix thing? Okay, tell me. Yes, the man make a lady next to so yeah. Hit the fam ambassador on this sombre more basin where Calaba, Yobi, Calaba, Momo, Calaba, the song baby, Calaba, Raunendi, and when I am a model fee, Calaba, South Calaba, don't go Calaba, Mada, spinning girls, when I was got it, Mada, spinning girls, Mada, spinning girls, when I Mada, spinning girls, me on outside. Squinning, you don't get it already. Mada, spinning girls, Mada, spinning girls, Mada, say, when I am going to me. Mada, spinning girls, spinning, spinning,
Johnny Cage, Upper X, Icebox, Easy. You never teach on it. You never teach on it. You never teach on it.
These are people making Calabar proud.
You never teach on it. You never teach.
They need your support back home.
Where do you go to teach on it? You never teach on it. I didn't for on it. You tell me say you want on it. I DJ make you play on it. Icebox Gunty, Gunty, I can get you 600. And when you get you 600, they make me want to touch on you. Ever I'm paying now. If I buy back forever, when I get the boa, the good Jennifer Gabova. Ever I'm paying now. If I buy back forever, the good Jennifer Gabova. When I get the you never teach on it. You never teach on it. You never teach on it. I want you go to teach on it. You never teach on it. You never teach on it. You never teach on it. So you go to teach on it.
This is getting a problem. This is Bakana Wahala. That's so we go to show them. And they plan to report to give your father. The sickness in health for better for us. The money go come, it go better for us. You know what CB now say people go talk. Only me and my money go day of the month. You catching the feeling? I seen a box, now me get all the chilling. Suddenly discovered that something was missing. Some of my guys will be up in the ceiling. Forget the chilling, now back to your ways. So you make we they connect, I value your ways. Actually you must be feeling the boy. I'ma give me some time, make a tackle your ways.
You never teach.